8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the John DeVito Show. It is 1 fucking degree in Massachusetts right now. 1 degree. All right, I'm not happy. I literally just went out to get something at my kid's school, and I think I came home with icicles literally hanging off of my balls after coming back. So it is freezing. I've been talking about the weather in Massachusetts, where we've been very lucky over the last couple of months, where it's been in the 30s, it's been in the 20s, and I get it. If you're in a warm climate, I mean, that's super cold. But up here, Massachusetts, January is usually just miserable. So we've been escaping these terrible temperatures that we're getting right now. So today it's literally 1 degree, and with the wind chill, I think it's like minus 20 degrees out right now. So I think I've just decided I am not going to leave my house again. I am home. I'm staying home. I am not going back out there again. There is no reason for me to leave my warm home. I can do my work here, and I am staying warm here in my house. Hey, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming in. So I'm doing my show. I'm very happy that you joined me. If this is your first time, welcome to the show. Please give me a follow. And right now we're just talking about the cold, frigid weather here in Massachusetts. It is literally 1 degree Fahrenheit with a wind chill of minus 20 degrees. It is absolutely miserable. I just went out to run an errand, and of course, I'm a moron. I still have shorts on. I haven't put all my pants on yet, not once this year. I just wear shorts. Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you for letting me know that you've downloaded all my podcasts. Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. And it's nice to see someone come into my show that's actually, downloaded my podcast, because honestly, it still amazes me that I get so many downloads. I've had, I think, over almost 21,000 downloads now. And it just makes me happy to see someone coming in that actually takes the time out of their busy day to download my show and actually listen. So I appreciate the fact that you came in and told me that you've been downloading my show, and I hope you find them enjoyable. I hope I don't bore you too often. But I've got some funny stories this morning. I can't do a super long show this morning because I have to work. Thank you very much. That was very nice of you. And for those of you that don't know, I see Mr. Coley is mentioning congratulations for my son. For those of you that don't know, I am incredibly proud of my son. My son, Matt, now I've got 4 kids. My son, Matt, is 18 years old, and he is on the autism spectrum. He was born with autism. He has Tourette's syndrome. He has ADHD. He has OCD. And I think back when he was little, and I think about all the challenges he had. And there were many sleepless nights where my wife and I would stay up. We'd be searching the internet, looking for solutions for his, affliction, which was very serious. And, for this kid, he was always a kid that had a smile on his face. He gave his best every day. When he was little, he had to go to school all year round. He didn't get summers off. He had ABA therapy and, had some really tough times when he was young. I still remember one time, and this one really breaks my heart. When he was little, we went to the beach, and not the ocean, but there's this little pond near my house, and it's a state park, and they have a nice little beach in there. So we would go there a lot when the kids were little and bring them there and just spend the day on the beach. And, the pond wasn't very deep, so it was safe for the kids to swim and all that type of stuff. And I remember one day I went with just him, and he was trying to play with kids, and he just couldn't relate, and he couldn't speak well, and kids kept kind of being mean to him and ignoring him. And I get it, because he was different. And I remember, he didn't always have at that time very clear thoughts, and he couldn't express himself very well. But I still remember after that day, I sat in my chair and I watched him, and it broke my heart to see him struggling with all these kids because he was just trying to make friends. So we got in the car and he sat in the back seat. And at that time, he was pretty little. He would put his thumb in his mouth and suck his thumb and, do all that type of stuff. So I'm driving the car and I look back at him. He pulls his thumb out of his mouth and he looks at me and says, "Dad?" And I said, "Yes." He said, "Why am I a failure as a kid?" I literally had tears in my eyes. I couldn't even speak. I was so upset. And even when I tell this story, probably 15 years later, it still absolutely breaks my heart. So my son has had a lot of difficult things happen to him over the years. And finally, years ago, he found boxing. He had watched the movie Rocky and decided he wanted to be a boxer. And he had an inner city group of boxers, professional boxers, that welcomed him into the gym. And they literally trained him for like 9 years. And it built a lot of confidence in my son. I mean, he's never going to be a real boxer. He goes and he works out and he does all those type of things. So for 9 years, he actually boxed and trained and got on the ring with professional boxers, and they built his confidence. And it was really a good thing for him. So then he finally discovered acting, that he really liked to act. He's got a beautiful singing voice. It's like a natural thing where he sings well. So he is now, if you fast forward ahead, he's 18 years old. He's now been in 10 plays. And last December, he actually got his first lead. He was Buddy in Elf the Musical in a play in Massachusetts at a college, and he killed it. He got standing ovations at all 4 shows. He made the local Boston television news. He was in the newspaper in Boston. He actually went viral on Facebook and made the USA Today and really did well. So, he's decided that at 18, he wants to be an actor. So we ended up putting his name in for a movie. They're filming actually a really big movie right now in Massachusetts for Netflix. We put my son's name in back in October. He got chosen. So this movie is unbelievable. It's called Don't Look Up. It's going to be on Netflix. It stars Leonardo DiCaprio, Jennifer Lawrence, Christopher Evans, Meryl Streep, Kate Blanchett. What's the funny guy's name? The heavy guy. I can't think of his name. It'll come to me in a second. He was in The Wolf of Wall Street with Leonardo DiCaprio. He's one of the stars. He's in it. So there's like a bunch of guys that are in this movie and actors that are just very well known, just good actors. So unfortunately, my son got this role back in November, and literally a week before filming, he tested positive for COVID. He was devastated. He was upset. I mean, let's face it, it doesn't come around every day to get an opportunity to be in a film with Leonardo DiCaprio, right? I mean, that's kind of like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So anyway, things went by. He lost his chance to be in the movie. He was devastated. I was devastated for him. So I continued to write the casting director. We actually had an email address for the head casting director of Netflix. Her name is Judith Boulay. So about 2 weeks ago, it was Saturday night, 10 o'clock here in Boston at night. My wife and I are watching TV. A number pops up on my phone. No one ever calls my house that late. I'm old. So my phone rings and it says Judith Boulay casting. I was like, holy shit. So I answered the phone. And it was Judy Boulay from Netflix Casting. And she said, "Listen, John, if you could, is Matt available right now?" 10 o'clock at night. I'm like, "Yeah, he's available." So I give him the phone. She FaceTime met with him for 20 minutes on the phone. And then she came back to us and she said to us, "Listen, we have a part for Matt. We'd like for him to come back and be in the movie. He's past the COVID period. So would he be available on February 8th? So I said, of course he would. He would love it. So apparently on February 8th, which is not next week, but the week after, Monday, he's going to be on set in Massachusetts at a Walmart. They're going to call it Calmart, apparently, for the movie. But he's going to be in a scene with Leonardo DiCaprio, Jennifer Lawrence, and Timothy Chalamet, who's, I guess, a pretty well-known actor. I don't know who he is, but he's a younger actor. Oh, the other guy that's in the movie is Jonah Hill. He's the other guy that's in as well. So Matt is literally going to be a shopper in this movie with like 8 other actors. And he's going to have a chance to be in this big Netflix movie with, huge stars. So talk about, a young man that had autism, that had a lot of things stacked against him, that, things were very difficult for him. He's really made, an incredible leap in his life and done very, very well. So we're really proud of him. All right, now another story about my kids. This is kind of fun. You're going to like this one because this one's pretty nasty. So hopefully some of you guys hang in here and listen to this story. We have 4 kids in my house, okay? So we got 3 boys and a girl. We have 3 teenagers living in my house right now, all right? So my oldest is 18. My only daughter is 15. I have a 14-year-old son and a 12-year-old son. So yesterday, my kids, their responsibility was to do the laundry. We have friggin' mountains of laundry in my house. It's absolutely ridiculous. Okay, so it drives me crazy. My kids will take laundry out of the dryer and then they leave that laundry in the laundry room and then throw dirty clothes on top of it. So you never know what's clean, what's dirty. I always tell them, take the clean clothes, put them in the hallway so we don't mix up the clean clothes with the dirty clothes. All right. So yesterday I go in, and of course there's a laundry basket right outside the dryer. Someone had pulled clothes out and put clothes into that hamper and left it right outside the dryer. So I'm like, oh, God damn it. I've told these kids 100 times to pull those out in the hallway so we don't mix them up. So I look at them and they look kind of clean. So I decide to pick up a piece of the laundry. Okay. So I pick up a piece of the laundry and I smell it. And this happens to be my 14-year-old son's shorts. And he's been lifting weights lately. So we went to the gym and he had his underwear inside these shorts. So I don't know for what reason I decided to pick up these shorts and give them a nice long sniff. But I did. Let me tell you, that could have been one of the biggest mistakes in my life. When I picked up those shorts and I took a sniff of my son's shorts, it smelled like he had worn those shorts for like 3 months without washing. And he had the nastiest case of swamp ass I think that anyone could have ever had. It was absolutely horrible. That's right, Caitlin. Ew. So I picked those shorts up and I swear to God, I almost started dry heaving in the laundry room. They smelled like ass and sweat and ball sweat and whatever else. So little hint of advice from a father. If you go into the laundry room and you think that maybe laundry could be dirty, then it's probably best just to rewash that laundry as opposed to picking up your teenage son's shorts and sniffing them and getting the overwhelming smell of teenage ass directly in your face. So Big Dick Brown is 14 years old. Nice. Welcome to the show, Big Dick Brown. 14 years old, same age as my son. Oh, is that you? Oh, that's my son, little wise ass. So my son is literally in my show. This is the one with the smelly ass who came in as Big Dick Brown, and he is 14 years old. So, well, you are 14. Why are you saying 13? Did I say 13? Well, I don't care how old you are. I got 4 kids. The hell with all of you. You're all a pain in the ass. You're all a drain on my wallet. And now I'm sniffing your goddamn shorts in the laundry room, and they smell like 50 shades of ass. They were absolutely just horrible. I literally had bad dreams about it last night, the smell of your shorts. I mean, honestly, do you shower ever? Come over here. I want to interview you for a second. So I picked up your shorts and it literally smelled like Sasquatch had been wearing those shorts for like 10 years, lost in the wild. I mean, how often do you shower?
Shower every day.
Okay, listen, I know you shower every day. We get that. But we're not talking about the masturbation showers. We're talking about real showers where you actually wash your body.
Every day.
So how many times had you worn those shorts before you threw them in the laundry room?
Do you know what color they were?
White, I think.
Yeah, no, I only wore those once.
Only once?
Yeah.
So you achieved that level of smell in those shorts basically with one time wearing them.
Yeah, I know. I'm impressive.
I don't believe it, man. That is, you know what? We're going to give a quick you for that one. So that's you. All right. So anyway, I say, hey, Roderick Trucking, welcome to the show. So Roderick Trucking, that's kind of a cool name. So Roderick, I don't know if you're still in the show, but now when you say Roderick Trucking, do you actually drive an 18-wheeler? What do you do for a job? I've only ridden in an 18-wheeler once, but I would absolutely love to drive a truck. I think that'd be a great job where you could just be on the road, no one bothering you, whatever. So, hey, welcome to the show, man. I just had someone call in. I don't know how to say your name. Sri Kenneth, maybe? How are you, man? Are you there? Don't be shy. Uh-oh, are you getting stage fright? All right, listen, I'm gonna leave you up there in the panel. If you want to talk in a minute, you're welcome to talk on the show and let me know where you're from. So for everybody coming into the chat, this is a time where I normally don't do a show. So if you could, let me know where you're from, what you like to talk about. We kind of have an open forum this morning. I talk about everything. I talk about sports. I talk about politics. I talk about news, social issues, whatever. So I'm here. I'm just kind of drinking my coffee, chilling out on a freezing cold Friday morning in Massachusetts. Now, for the people just coming in, I don't know where you all live, but I'm in the U.S. I'm about an hour west of Boston in Massachusetts, and today it is literally 1 degree Fahrenheit with a wind chill of minus 20 degrees. So a little while ago, I had to drive out to my son's school, to pick something up. And of course I wore shorts because I never wear pants. I've been locked down in COVID for like 10 months. So right now I have shorts and slippers on with a shirt and then a coat. That's kind of how I dress. I look like a jackass. Whatever. It is what it is. But literally I went out to pick up this thing at the school, and I walked out with my shorts on, and I came back, and I literally think, I haven't checked yet, but I think I literally might have icicles hanging off my balls right now. I mean, yes, I know that's disgusting. I shouldn't talk about those things, but it's freezing. There is no reason for anyone to live in a climate that's this cold. I don't know what the hell I was thinking living here. I've lived here my whole life. I actually grew up in New Hampshire, and I live in Massachusetts now. And at this time of year, man, it is so cold here. I don't know if there's anybody else in the panel or in the chat area that lives in a cold climate. But, New England is a really nice place to live, like 7 or 8 months out of the year. I mean, in the summer, it gets hot. It's, the weather's nice. It's not too hot. In the fall, it's beautiful. The spring isn't too bad if it doesn't rain too much. But the winter here in Massachusetts, man, it can just be nasty. I mean, up until this point so far, it hasn't been terribly cold. It's been fairly warm. But, not today, man. It is cold. So I went out once today. I am not leaving my house again. There's no reason for me to venture back out there again. There's nothing to be gained. There's no reason. So, hey, I got you. You looks like you popped off and you called back in. So can you hear me now? Are you ready to let me know where you're from and what's going on? Sri Kenneth, are you there? All right. You must be having trouble with your phone. I see you in the message chat down below. If you can't talk or whatever, then, it's one of those things. I've got my board all set up and I just can't hear you, unfortunately. So anyway, feel free to chat down in the bottom. And if you have any questions for me, let me know. But so how's everyone feeling about what's happening in the United States of America right now? There's a lot of stuff going on. And I'm a little pissed off this morning because I saw that I missed the opportunity to make a shitload of money in the stock market. I saw everything that was going on with GameStop and AMC movie theaters. Have you all seen this story? I mean, there was a group on Reddit, the social media page, that was encouraging people to buy certain stocks that had been shorted by hedge funds. So literally you had like hundreds and thousands of people putting substantial amounts of money into stocks like GameStop, AMC theaters. There were a variety of different stocks, and they were literally skyrocketing these stocks. But at the same time, they were literally bankrupting hedge fund managers who had bet on these companies to lose. So, I mean, there were certain stocks that like over the last week have gone up like 1,200%. And I literally found this Reddit group last night. So I don't know, man, 9:30, the market's open. That's what I'm wondering, man. I see Philip down there mentioning you haven't missed the opportunity, but when it ends, it's going to be brutal. Now, are you one of the investors that's gotten in and invested in these stocks? Because I'll tell you, I've got some money and I'd like to dump some into a stock today, but I don't want to lose my money either if I've kind of missed that window. So I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome that people are, finding a way to make money for themselves and take a little bit of shot, at the big guys also. And what kills me is you've got these big companies now that are demanding company regulations or government regulations on these small time traders. And, the people on Wall Street, now don't get me wrong, for those of you that don't know me, I'm a capitalist. I believe in making money. But I mean, these people that are on Wall Street, I mean, they're sharks, man. They eat their own mother for money. They don't care. So for them all of a sudden now to complain because some of the small guys have found a way to make some money on their backs, I mean, that's just crazy to me. So, hey, I've got a caller. Welcome to the show, man. Where are you from? Oh, and the call ended. No one wants to talk to me today. What's up? Am I intimidating? Am I scary? I don't know. I've got people calling in and nobody wants to talk to me. Hey, I'm not that bad. Come on. If someone wants to call in, I'd love to talk to you, find out where you're from, find out what's going on and all that good stuff. So anyway, it's 9:00 Eastern time now. I may be watching the stock market today. And if I see a big dip with GameStop, I may be dumping some money in today to see if I can make some cash. So we'll see how it goes today. But a lot of other things going on in the United States of America. We've got our new president, Joe Biden, or as I refer to him, Dementia Joe. I'm not a fan. You all know that. For the people that have been there, you realize I'm not a fan of Mr. Biden. But, for me, I'm a guy that believes in the United States of America. I believe it's a great country. There are a lot of other great countries in this world. I'm fortunate, I feel, to live in this country. We have a lot of positive things that happen here. But one of the things I like most about this country, is that we have, a system of freedom. We vote to get things done, or at least we're given the illusion that we do vote. And, one of the things I do not like about this new presidency is we've now seen 30 executive orders in the first 10 days of his presidency. So when you're writing executive order after executive order after executive order, how does that promote democracy in a supposed free country? To me, it's a dictatorship. And I don't like to see that. I don't like to see it on either side. I don't like to see Biden doing it. I didn't like to see Trump doing it. I don't want to see executive orders in this country. So that's one thing that's kind of frustrating me about what's going on. Now, another thing that I find to be very frustrating is the fact that Joe Biden had told everybody, okay, Donald Trump doesn't have a plan for COVID-19. We've got this huge COVID-19, pandemic. The United States has lost over 400,000 lives. And the left had blamed Donald Trump for everything. He was the guy in Wuhan that created the virus. He was the one that transmitted it to the United States. He was the one that personally went around and spread it to everybody. So, Trump couldn't do anything right. So Joe Biden campaigned on, Donald Trump doesn't have a plan. I have a plan. All right. I'm going to unveil my plan on day one, and we're going to come out and we're going to save thousands of lives. And you know what? Even though I don't like Joe Biden, great. I mean, I don't want anybody to die from COVID. I've already lost my wife's grandmother. She passed away due to COVID. I've got an 80-year-old father. I don't want him to die. So if you can do something to save Americans or anybody in the world, I mean, not just Americans, I mean, anyone worldwide. I don't want anyone from India to die. I don't want anyone from England to die. I don't want anyone from Iran to die. I mean, I want people to be saved from this disease. So Joe Biden now has been in office for 10 days. And what has he done to battle COVID? Number one, he came out and said that if you're in a federal building, you need to wear a mask. Okay, that's great. I mean, there's 336 million Americans in this country, and I don't really go into federal buildings very often, so that doesn't do a fucking thing to help me. So that makes no sense. Good for the people that go into federal buildings. Of course, that night he gave a speech without a mask on from a federal building, so that is what it is. And then the second thing, Dr. Fauci, I don't even know how to pronounce his name. The sight of him just kind of annoys the shit out of me. But then he came out and said, instead of one mask, no one even likes wearing the one mask. But instead of one mask, maybe we should all wear two masks, two masks. You know what? I have an idea. All right. Fuck Dr. Fauci. Fuck Joe Biden. Forget two masks. All right. I don't think that's going to work. One didn't work. Two is not going to work. I say we wear 6 masks each. So everybody in the world, go out and buy yourself 6 masks. You can put them, multiple ones over your mouth, multiple ones over your nose. And just in case, you might want to wear them over your ears in case the coronavirus, comes out of your ears. Maybe even cover up your eyes with some type of see-through mask. And I don't know, flatulence could be something that passes on coronavirus also. So if you have, if you happen to fart, if you do that a lot, if you happen to fart on a regular basis, then you might want to wear a mask over your ass as well. And that'll prevent any coronavirus from escaping through your ass. So, that's where we are. Biden came out, and back in October, he said that Trump has no plan. He's got blood on his hands. Americans are dying because of him. And again, he talked about his plan. Now, what he came out with and posted, I think it was a couple of days ago, he came out and said, there is nothing we can do over the next several months to affect the trajectory of this disease. Okay. So you campaign saying that the past president was killing Americans. He didn't have a plan. Now, let's talk about the previous president's plan. He created, or at least he encouraged companies to create 3 vaccines in the span of 9 or 10 months. Okay. So, that was world record time. And again, Donald Trump did not create them himself, just like he did not create the coronavirus by himself. It happened in China. These vaccines happened at different pharmaceutical companies, and they did it in record time. The left over and over and over again talked about how, there was no way you could create a vaccine that quickly. And I appreciate that. Thank you very much for saying you like my show. That means a lot to me. So thank you very much. That's very kind. I appreciate that. And I really do appreciate anyone that comes into my live and takes the time to download my show. So that actually means a lot to me, and I greatly appreciate that. So thank you. So for anybody that's new in here, please give me a follow. Please share my live if you get a chance. And that actually gives me engagement points. So it kind of helps my score. So if you get a chance to share my live, I would greatly appreciate that. But, Trump, as I was saying, Trump created vaccines that are going to help millions of Americans. And now if any of you guys out there are thinking about taking vaccines, I know a lot of people are afraid of vaccines, right? My wife is a doctor, okay? And she took her second dose of the Moderna vaccine yesterday. All right. So she had her first dose, I think it was maybe like 3 weeks ago, give or take. I don't remember the exact time frame, but roughly 3 weeks ago, she had her first dose. So when she took her first dose of the Moderna vaccine, she had some extreme arm soreness. Like she couldn't really raise her arm above her head. It was really sore. And that was kind of a problem for her. But really, other than that, there was no other side effects. Like she didn't feel sick. She didn't, have a fever, any of those type of things. But then, I see the John DeVito show is in here. That must be my son who's changing his name to my name. Thank you, Ethan, for joining me as the John DeVito show. And again, do me a favor, please wash your own laundry from now on. I don't want to smell your swamp ass ever again. So anyway, going back to what I was talking about, if I even remember what I was talking about now, but we were talking about Trump, we were talking about Biden, we were talking about things going on, talking about my wife with the vaccine. So yesterday, my wife actually took her second dose of the Moderna vaccine, and she did it along with most of the people in her office, nurses, PAs, other doctors, people that all, work with COVID people on a daily basis. And my wife last night did not feel good. So if you're going to take the Moderna vaccine, be ready. The first dose wasn't bad. She had a very sore arm. That was about it. But her and pretty much everyone in her office had a very, rough night after the second dose of the Moderna vaccine, where they had fevers. Some of them became nauseous and threw up. My wife had terrible headaches last night and didn't feel well even when she woke up this morning. So for me, it's still worth it. I mean, I will get vaccinated. I am so fucking sick of wearing a mask. I can't wait to get that dog leash off of me. So for me, when the vaccines become available for the general population, if they ever do, then I will get vaccinated. But, you should all know that there are some side effects. With the first shot, as I mentioned, she had a sore arm. But the second shot that she got pretty sick. And I know that there were people in her office that got really sick. So just be prepared for that Moderna vaccine, that there are some side effects with that. And it appears some people are having some difficulty after taking the shot. So, hey, for the people that are in the live studio, tell me where you're from. I'd love to know where you're from, what's going on in your life, what country you're from. I get a lot of listeners from all over the world. I get, most of my listeners come from the United States, but I think the second country of popularity for me is actually India. I get a lot of people in from India, from Iran, which I think is cool as hell. And of course, people from, all across the United States. So, hey, any football fans in here by any chance? I don't want to talk football if it's going to bore the hell out of everybody. I'll probably keep this relatively short, but I would like to talk a little bit about the Super Bowl and give my prediction. Yeah, I know you like football. So anyway, we got the Super Bowl coming up, not this weekend, but next weekend. And me being a Massachusetts resident, I'm kind of excited because Tom Brady is back in the Super Bowl again this year. And, I know a lot of people out there do not like Tom Brady. I get it. I was a Patriots fan back in the 90s when the Dallas Cowboys were winning all their championships. And I could not stand the sight of Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, what was the guy's name? Owens, the receiver. I mean, I hated that team. And I couldn't stand watching the Cowboys. So I get why people hate Tom Brady and they're sick of him. But for me, I'm happy to see that he landed in Tampa Bay and he's with a good organization. The head coach, I'm not sure if he's great, but Tampa Bay has a very good team. I mean, for the first time in his career, really, Tom Brady has some weapons, some good weapons. He's got Godwin, he's got Evans, he's got Gronkowski, he's got a good running game with Fournette. And they have a pretty good defense also. And I think for a lot of people out there, you need to remember that, Kansas City is obviously a great team with Mahomes and Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce and, a pretty solid defense. But this Super Bowl is going to be played in Tampa Bay, and they're allowing in 26,000 fans. So you have to think of two things when you think of the Super Bowl, in my opinion. Number one is the Tom Brady effect. I mean, Tom Brady, when he gets into a big game, generally he has ice in his veins, and a lot of times he's going to find a way to win that game. Now, Mahomes also has shown that ability in his young career, but he's still a younger guy, and he's going up against a legend, and it's going to be an away game for him. So we'll see how Mahomes does in this game. But if I'm going to pick, I look at Tom Brady, being the GOAT, being the greatest of all time with a great receiving core, a good running game, a very good run defense, maybe a little bit of a suspect pass defense. But I think it's going to be very difficult to beat Tom Brady in which is basically a home game in Tampa Bay is where the Super Bowl is going to be held. So we'll see what happens in the Super Bowl. But if I was going to pick, I don't know what I would pick for a score, but I think it's going to be a relatively close game. I mean, every Super Bowl Brady's ever been in, they've always been close games. They've been, heart stoppers every single year. So I think I would probably pick like a 34-27 Tampa Bay victory over Kansas City. So we'll kind of see what happens. Well, there's a lot of talk about that. There's a lot of talk about Patrick Mahomes being the future GOAT. I mean, I don't understand that comment. How can you be a future greatest of all time? I mean, Patrick Mahomes is a great young quarterback. In my opinion, probably the best young quarterback in the game. You've got guys like Lamar Jackson, who is great athletically, and he can run, but I see a lot of Cam Newton in Lamar Jackson when I watch him play, where he can run, but he just doesn't throw very well. And once he slows down a little bit as he gets older, if he gets a knee injury or some of those injuries start piling up for him running the football, you're going to see him become more of a Cam Newton where, he's not as fast as he used to be and still can't throw the ball, and that's going to be a problem. So for me, I think it's very premature to say Patrick Mahomes is a baby GOAT or the next GOAT. I mean, there are a lot of great quarterbacks in the history of football. You look at guys like Brady, obviously, Joe Montana, John Elway, Dan Marino, Brett Favre. I mean, currently you've got Aaron Rodgers. You've got Roethlisberger, I guess. I mean, you've got, even going way back, guys like Johnny Unitas. I mean, you've got some great quarterbacks over the years. So to say that Mahomes is the baby GOAT, I think I'd hold off on that one until he's got 10 years under his belt and has maybe won like 3 Super Bowls. Then maybe you could start talking about him being in the running with some of the greats of all time. So anyway, that's my football talk today. So I just wanted to mention a little bit about the Super Bowl, saying that, again, it's, in my opinion, going to be a Tampa Bay win. I think the GOAT is going to win his 7th Super Bowl ring. And, you have to wonder how the New England Patriots fans are going to feel about this. For me, I'm a lifelong Patriots fan. I'm an old man. I'm in my 50s. So I was watching them back in the day when they were the worst team in football, kind of like the Jets. You could literally, back in the day, go to the Patriots Stadium the day of a game. I did it with my father, and we could buy 50-yard line seats the day of the game, face value, because no one would go to the games. And that's obviously changed now. But we'll see. We'll see what happens going forward. But I think the Patriots, they let the greatest player of all time go. I feel kind of mixed about that. In some ways, I think it was the right decision if they have a plan to rebuild the team. I always think back on like the 85 and the 86 Celtics when they stuck with McHale, Bird, and Parrish for too long at the end of their careers and ended up not getting draft picks, didn't trade for them, and ended up being kind of a crappy team for like 10 years because of that. So hopefully, the Patriots do something with the draft this year. That they were talking to the Alabama quarterback yesterday. There's some talk that Stafford's available, Deshaun Watson, some others. So we'll see what happens going forward. But obviously the Patriots have to do some rebuilding, and some of that has to be on Bill Belichick's shoulders. So anyway, as I was saying to start the show, we were talking about the weather here in Massachusetts. It is 1 degree outside with a wind chill of -20, I think, at this point. So it's absolutely freezing. And I'm done. I'm ready for spring. I'm ready for baseball season. I'm ready for nice weather. I'm ready for going to the beach and just enjoying some beautiful weather. But unfortunately, here in Massachusetts, we've got like another, God knows, like 30, not 30 days, more than that, like 90 days of bad weather. I mean, literally February in Massachusetts is just a shorter version of January. It's cold. The weather sucks. We end up getting a lot of times a lot of snow in the month of February. March here, everybody gets excited. It happens every year. People are like, all right, January and February are over. It's finally the month of March. We're getting towards spring. Let me be clear to anybody out there that happens to listen from New England. And remember this, March sucks just as much as February. March is one big, long kick in the ass where the weather is still 20, 30 degrees. It's cold every day. We get snow. We get sleet. It's just not good weather. So don't think that March in New England is any better than February. Hey, Light Bright, welcome to the show. Book Tony T, welcome to the show. So, yeah, March is still cold, but today, 1 degree with a wind chill of minus 20. I went outside earlier today and I got my kids lunch from their middle school because they're still doing remote learning a few days a week. And it was just miserable out there. It was so cold with the wind blowing. And I really just don't even want to go out there again. I'm looking outside right now with fear and anger. I just don't want to be anywhere near the outside right now. So, hey, if you're new coming into my show, please give me a follow. Please share my live if you could. And once we get some more people coming into the live, I'm going to share the story about my son again this morning, what happened when I was doing the laundry. This was not a pleasant experience. So I'm kind of, I don't even know if I should be thinking about that. So, hey, Book Tony T, I don't recall seeing you in here before. Let me know where you're from. What area are you from? Are you from the United States? Are you from a different country? If you are in the U.S., what state are you from? I'd like to learn a little bit more about you. And let's see. We got N. Jackson entering the live. Welcome to the live, N. Jackson. Thanks for joining the John DeVito Show. Oh, you're from South Africa. Very cool. Very cool. It's funny. I was just looking at some details of South Africa the other night on the internet. And South Africa looks like a beautiful country. I've never traveled to Africa. I live in the Boston area of Massachusetts. So you must be having a lot better weather than we're having right now. It's freezing up here today. I can see the wind, the snow blowing in the wind and everything else. But I've always wanted to go to Africa. I've been to Europe a bunch of times. And one of my life's goals is to travel to Africa. And let me ask you now, you're in South Africa. I'd like to visit South Africa. If I was going to visit other countries in Africa, what countries should I go to? And what countries should I avoid? I mean, if you have like a list of one or two of each, I'm just kind of curious because I would love to come. I've thought about, going to like Egypt and seeing the pyramids and checking out South Africa. I've got some friends that actually traveled to South Africa a few years back, and they went to some wildlife preserve and they were kind of like hanging out with baby tigers and all that kind of stuff. It was really cool. But I would love to go there sometime just to kind of check out, in my mind, what looks like to be probably the most beautiful continent in the world. So, Book Tony T, have you ever been to the United States? Have you ever traveled here? And just kind of wondering if you have, what you thought of the good old USA. I've lived here my entire life, and, I do love this country. I love the United States. I think it's a great place to live in general. So let's see. I see Book Tony T typed in the chat. It's a very, very beautiful country indeed. Our weather is perfect. Oh, that sounds nice. Can be very hot sometimes. I really think South Africa is the number one country to visit. People here are full of life and humanity. I'm loving this show, by the way. Well, that means a lot to me. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. And honestly, I think, back in the day, I wanted to be a radio broadcaster, and I took a different path after college. And I have a career that I very much enjoy. And then, when podcasting came out, I looked into it briefly, but that was back in the day before you could really go live on shows. So I actually got into Podbean last March and started broadcasting due to COVID. And I think I've done almost 200 shows now, and I really love being on Podbean. And I think the thing that I love about it the most is it's not just broadcasting to people that live, right around where you live. I mean, you can reach out to people from Africa, from Asia, from Europe, from South America. I mean, I've got people that call into my show from Ecuador, and I've had people calling in from Ghana and Iran. And I just think that's amazing that we have this technology today where you can actually broadcast and speak to people all over the world, which is very cool. Hey, Light Bright, welcome back to the show. So let me tell my story again. I think I've got some new listeners in here right now. Now, as a lot of you know, I have 4 children, and we have a tremendous amount of laundry on any given week. I mean, it's just ridiculous how much laundry we have. So I asked my kids to do the laundry yesterday. We make them do their own laundry so we don't have to do it all. And one of my biggest pet peeves, something that drives me crazy, is that we have a little small laundry room in our house. So we have the washer and dryer in this room. And I asked the kids, when you pull clothes out of the dryer, you put them in a laundry basket, and then bring them into the hallway so we don't mix up the clean clothes with dirty clothes, right? So that's like one of my big things. So I went in there yesterday to take a look, and there was a laundry basket of clothes right next to the dryer that was full to the top. My son had just been in there. So I was like, damn it, pull that laundry basket out into the hallway so we don't mix up the dirty clothes with the clean clothes. I was talking to myself. So then I come up with the brainstorm, the great idea of, well, I really don't want to wash them again if they're clean. So maybe I should pick up something and smell the clothes to see if the clothes are actually clean. So I ended up picking up a pair of my teenage son's shorts. They were a pair of white shorts. He's 14 years old. I picked those up, and honest to God, I took a big sniff, but literally it was one of the most horrible smells I've ever had in my life. It's like he hadn't washed in like 3 months. And I was the genius that thought it was a good idea to pick up those shorts and take a big sniff. So it was pretty disgusting.
Ew.
Yes, Caitlin, that's true. So, hey, Book Tony T, thank you for coming into the show. Enjoy your day. Hopefully you're coming back again sometime soon. And I appreciate you stopping in. And maybe next time you can call in and tell me a little bit about South Africa. I'd love to hear more about the country and just hear about what it's like to live in South Africa as opposed to being in the U.S. So next time you come in, give me a call and let's chat, okay? That would be awesome. That'd be cool. Great. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate it. So like I said earlier, today's going to be a relatively short show. I'm going to be on for maybe an hour. I've got to get to work today. It's already 9:20. But what did everybody think about all the stock trading that's happened the last few days? We saw what happened with companies like GameStop, AMC movie theaters, and all these different places where people were running the stocks up. And I guess my only thought is I'm disappointed that I missed the opportunity to invest in something like GameStop and make like thousands of dollars. So I give people a lot of credit for coming up with that idea. So, hey, Mary, welcome to the show. Thank you for coming in. I'm broadcasting live from Boston, Massachusetts. I'm kind of looking forward to the weekend. It's Friday, thank God. And I am just totally excited, looking forward not to have to work tomorrow. So I'll give myself a little applause for that. But I got to tell you, one of the things that kind of affects me over the course of a weekend is we have so many children. And, honestly, at one point, we thought it was a good idea to have like 4 children. And I guess it was at one point. But honestly, there are days now where I wonder, honestly, what the fuck was I thinking? It was just, it was one of those things where we have so many children, we have so much to do that on the weekends, we end up driving them just all over the place. And by the time it becomes Monday morning, it's almost like a relaxation to go back to work after our hectic weekend. So it's kind of funny, kind of crazy, the life that we have, but it's kind of the life that we've chosen. And so it's like tonight, for instance, my kids get done with school at like 3:00 in the afternoon. And then one of my sons has baseball practice from 5:30 to 7:30 at night. Then my other son has baseball practice from 7:30 to 9:30 at night. And then my other son is working at a grocery store from 4:00 in the afternoon to 9:00 at night. So literally my wife and I are just driving all over the place as glorified Uber or Lyft drivers, driving these kids to all their different locations and all their different places and all that good stuff. So, I mean, it's all good. We enjoy it. And, it's one of those things where, I mean, it's kind of hard to, I guess, deal with it. But, my kids are getting older. We've got 3 teenagers and a tween in the house, and we're starting to wonder, we're starting to realize that these kids are going to be moving out relatively soon. I mean, my 18-year-old is going to move out probably this upcoming summer when he goes off to college. And then my other 3 are going to be moving out the next few years. So we're kind of getting to the point now where, it's getting there. Our kids are going to start leaving, and we're not going to be nearly as busy as we are now. So I'm sure there are going to be days where we sit around with all that free time, kind of wishing we could drive them around again. So I try to remember that as I drive around with my head, cut off. And, I talked about my son, Matt, quite a bit over the years. He's 18 years old with autism. He's going to be most likely going to a community college next year, probably a college called Quinsigamon Community College in Worcester, Massachusetts. And he's very fortunate where he goes to a therapeutic school for kids on the autism spectrum right now in Worcester, Massachusetts, called Summit Academy. It's an amazing school with amazing people, amazing teachers. They have literally changed his life and made a huge difference in the trajectory of his life. So in addition for them having this school that's basically elementary through high school, They recently just bought a building in Worcester, Massachusetts, and it's going to be, or it is, right in the middle of Becker College. And this building is going to have housing for 16 students, very similar to my son, that on the autism spectrum and things like that. There's going to be counseling at the school. There's going to be health services at this building. They're all going to have their individual rooms. And then they will get transportation to whatever school they choose to go to. So they're going to have help in this place where they're going to have an RA, just like it's a dorm. They're going to have counseling services. They're going to have tutors and homework help at night. And my son is going to get to live that life of actually being in college and being able to have that, that college experience, that dorm experience. We're kind of excited for him that he's going to get that opportunity. We're extremely proud of him and just excited he's going to get the chance to, go to college and kind of do his thing like that. So great news, man. And, it's amazing when you see things like that, when you see schools like that benefit kids that have a difficult time. It's just absolutely amazing. So, hey, welcome to everybody coming into the live. We've had a pretty good show up to this point. Had a bunch of people coming in and out. This is a time where I don't normally go on the air, so this is a little bit of a new time for me. But if you're new into my show, please consider giving me a follow. And if you're new, type into the chat area down the bottom where you're from, what you like to talk about. We're open to talk about different things today. We've been talking about the cold weather out in Boston today, where I live, where it's 1 degree with a wind chill of minus 20 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's very cold here today. We talked about my laundry mishap, where I unfortunately decided to smell my teenage son's shorts to see if they were actually clean while they're in the laundry room. And that could have been one of the biggest mistakes of my life. I still regret it. I couldn't sleep last night because that smell was like burned into my brain permanently. It's something I may never forget again. And we talked a little bit about, the Super Bowl, talking about Tampa Bay, who might win the Super Bowl and all that good stuff. And talked a little bit about the United States, Joe Biden, his presidency, what's been good so far, what hasn't been good. I mean, for many of you out there, you all know, if you've been into my show before, I'm a Trump guy. I felt that Donald Trump did a very good job as president of this country. I felt that he did literally make America great again. He did a lot of good things. And you've got this guy that's in office now that's been here for 10 days, Joe Biden. He's done nothing but sign executive order after executive order. He told the American people he was going to have a plan for COVID. He's got absolutely no plan whatsoever for COVID. The bailout checks that America's waiting for, nobody's seen a bailout check from Joe Biden yet, but he certainly killed 70,000 jobs with the Keystone Pipeline and different things like that. So, so far, again, I'm a Trump guy, but I'm not rooting for Joe Biden to fail. I mean, I want our president to succeed, because if he succeeds, our country succeeds. But right now, this is the problem that we have with the Democratic Party, is what they say and what they do is always drastically so different. They come out and say that they're the party of the people. They care about the poor. They care about the little guy. And that's always what they say to win office. But then when they get into office, a lot of times they just don't follow up on the platform that they claim to be, they claim is important to them. Now, we all saw what happened on January 6th at the Capitol House. The left classified that as riots, the most horrible thing that's ever happened in the history of our country. Maybe, maybe not. I mean, I guess it was supposedly an attack on the Capitol building, but those who saw video of that attack saw that officers were pulling back barriers and waving people into the State House. So I'm not sure how that is considered people rushing the State House when they were actually welcomed into the State House. But for anybody that's watching what's happening right now, again, in the Pacific Northwest, you have Antifa again is protesting. They are now demanding that we get rid of the police. They are now demanding that we just completely change the way our country operates. And they're also demanding that Joe Biden be removed from office. So I'd like to know if the flag-waving right-wing conservatives attended the State House. Most of them were God-loving people. Most of them had American flags. I guess now they've all been classified as domestic terrorists. They've all been classified as rednecks, as ignorant, as misogynist, as racist, and all these different things. But if those people who are God-loving, salute the flag, support the police Americans are domestic terrorists, shouldn't Antifa, who's in the Pacific Northwest, demanding the abolishment of police officers, taking over cities, burning down cities, looting businesses, and now, in addition to denouncing Trump, they're now denouncing Biden. So who is this group? Who is this group? I mean, as American people, don't we deserve to know what the hell is happening with Antifa? And why isn't our government classifying that group as domestic terrorists? I mean, when I look at the right, again, they were welcomed into the State House. They were waved in by police. Did some make bad decisions? Absolutely. Did some of those Trump supporters, or maybe Antifa supporters in disguise, get out of hand and cause problems and deserve to be arrested? Absolutely they did. No doubt about it. I don't believe violence is right on the right or the left. But if you're going to consider those people that stormed the State House to be domestic terrorists, what the fuck about Antifa? You got Antifa out there in the Pacific Northwest. They're still burning down buildings, right? They are burning down buildings. They're now denouncing Biden. They want to abolish the police. This group is scary. This group is truly the definition of domestic terrorism, and our government is not calling them out. I'd like to know why. It is scary to me that our government is tolerating them, and over the summer, that same government was encouraging them. Continue to burn down cities, continue to create violence, continue to create upheaval in this country. And I just don't understand. I don't understand. So here we are again, 2021. We've got Dementia Joe's in office. He's signing executive order after executive order. There have been 30 so far. He's killing jobs, the Keystone Pipeline. And I saw a story earlier today about the Keystone Pipeline. And it's kind of funny because if you think about it, Biden ended the Keystone Pipeline. 70,000 people overall in this country have lost their jobs since he took office, many of those because of the Keystone Pipeline. Now, we were going to be fuel sufficient, all right? And again, I get it that there are people out there that believes we should be all solar, all electric. If we could do that, I'm fine with it. I don't care. Once Teslas come down in price, I'll buy a Tesla. I think they're great. They're beautiful cars. But I'm just not going to pay $70,000 for like a small little, basically Toyota Prius. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to wait till the prices come down, and then I'll buy one. But, if you look at the Keystone Pipeline, we were going to be dependent, on our own oil from Canada, working with Canada. We were going to have clean oil brought into this country safely through a pipeline. Instead, we are now going to be purchasing our oil from the Middle East. Many of those countries are enemies of the United States. So we are fattening the pockets of people in the Middle East by buying their oil. They ship that oil to us in giant tankers across the ocean, where a lot of times they dump out the bilge of these giant ships, and they end up dumping oil into the ocean as they deliver it to the United States. So we had a chance in this country to have jobs for Americans. We had a chance where we're going to be self-reliant with our own oil. We weren't going to have to pay our enemies for their oil. And in the same time, for the people that say, well, it's not, it's about saving the climate, it's about saving the country. Well, now we're buying it from the Middle East, and they're shipping it across the ocean in giant tankers that dump oil into the ocean. So I'm not sure how that's better for the climate. So next thing, we started off with some different topics. We're kind of going into politics now. I got to talk about this guy coming up. Now, for those of you not from Massachusetts, that's where I live. I'm a very rare commodity in this state, where I'm a right-leaning person in a very left state, very similar to California. And we've got, some politicians in this state like Elizabeth Warren, who, you all know Donald Trump called her Pocahontas. She's a person that has come out very strongly saying that this country needs to eliminate student loans. Okay. Now, no one paid for my student loans. I was a football player. I got a full scholarship, and I worked my ass off through college in order to, play football to earn my degree. My wife is a doctor. She's worked her ass off. She paid for Boston University on her own, and she paid for medical school on her own by taking out loans. We paid off those loans on our own. We paid them off. She owed almost 300,000 American dollars. We paid off that loan on our own. Now, Elizabeth Warren, the politician from Massachusetts, comes out and says all student loans should be forgiven. Now, I've got 4 kids that are about to go to college, and if we could forgive their student loans, good for them. I mean, I've been saving money since birth for each of my children so we could literally try to send them to college, and a decent college, when the time came. But I mean, again, if one of my children gets into a Boston university right now at $85,000 a year, we don't have nearly the amount of money to be able to afford that. So it's going to be almost impossible for us to send our kids to the same type of college that my wife went to, unless they want to come out with a bachelor's degree owing $300,000. Now, let's take a look at Elizabeth Warren. Elizabeth Warren teaches at Harvard. She's a Harvard professor. Everybody knows Harvard, no matter where you are in the world. Very prestigious college here in America. It's in Cambridge, Massachusetts, right across the Charles River from Boston. It's a beautiful campus. Now, Elizabeth Warren, who wants to forgive student loan debt, makes $400,000 a year as a professor. $400,000 a year. That's pretty good money. You know, pretty good money. That's more than I make. That's more than my wife as a doctor makes. And what does she do to earn that $400,000 a year? Does she teach a full schedule? Does she lecture at night? You know, does she bring in money for the college? No, no, and no. Elizabeth Warren, Professor Elizabeth Warren, teaches one college course at Harvard, and she makes $400,000 a year for doing so. Now, again, I'm a capitalist. I have no problem with people making money. If you can make money, good for you. If you make more money than I do, congratulations. Good for you. You've done well in your life, and I have no reason to feel jealous because you have done better than me. It's okay. That's what this country's based on. But for her to come out and say that all student loans need to be forgiven when she charges $400,000 to teach one class, Elizabeth, maybe it's time to look in the mirror and realize you're the problem. If you weren't charging $400,000 to teach one course at Harvard, maybe our students wouldn't be in as much debt as they are. Maybe schools like Harvard and Boston University and Stanford, USC, wherever, wouldn't have to charge as much of a tuition if the professors did not cost as much. So, you know, little thing to think about. Now, welcome to everybody coming in. Thanks for joining my show. If you're new here, please follow me. Please share my live. I would greatly appreciate that, because that actually helps my engagement score. So if you could share my live, that would mean a lot to me. And please follow me if you're new. And if you're also new, let me know where you're from, you know, what you'd like to talk about. I'm open to talking about anything. I started the show talking about the weather. We've talked about the Super Bowl. We're touching on politics a little bit right now, but I'm always ready to go in a different direction. So if you have something you'd like to talk about, share it in the chat area, and I would be happy to answer any questions that you have. And please, like I said, follow me, share my live, and let me know where you're from down in the chat box. I'd like to know where everybody's from. Okay. So now, talking about politicians in Massachusetts. Now, we were talking about the climate earlier, how Joe Biden destroyed the pipeline, the Keystone Pipeline. We now have to buy our oil from the Middle East, where we have enemies in the Middle East. Now tankers are going to be dumping oil into the ocean when they empty their bilges during their trips with oil. So it's not really saving the climate by buying oil from the Middle East. So we've got John Kerry. I don't know if all of you know who John Kerry is. He's a senator in Massachusetts. Again, another Massachusetts liberal. His wife is Teresa Heinz. If the Heinz name sounds familiar, that's because she is the heiress to the Heinz ketchup company. So she is a billionaire. He is a billionaire. They are very wealthy. John Kerry has a gigantic home right in the center of Boston. It's a whole brownstone building that he owns. I think it's like 10,000 square feet, just this massive structure that's worth like tens of millions of dollars. Okay. So he's got this giant house in the center of Boston. Then he has a beach house in Massachusetts down on the Cape Cod, that's right on the ocean. That is, again, another massive structure that I think is also close to 10,000 square feet. John Kerry has a private jet. Okay. And years ago, when wind was starting to become a big thing, like wind power, which I think is great. I think the wind turbines are very cool and they provide energy, and I'm all for that. But when they proposed putting wind turbines off the coast of Massachusetts, and I'm not talking, right near his house, I'm talking like 50 miles out, way off in the distance, where maybe they'd be like a little speck on the skyline to provide power. John Kerry fought against that. Okay. He did not want windmills in the ocean that would take away from the view of his mansion on the water on Cape Cod. So John Kerry is a politician in Massachusetts. He received a job from Joe Biden. What is he? What is he? All right. Again, let's recap. 10,000 square foot house in Boston. He's a billionaire. Another 10,000 square foot house on Cape Cod on the ocean. Private jet. He fought against wind turbines off of the coast because it would affect his view. He and his wife, Teresa, while they were counting their Heinz ketchup money, wouldn't be able to see the ocean and it would ruin their view. So what is John Kerry? He's the new climate czar under Joe Biden. Okay, the climate czar. Are you fucking kidding me?
Oh, hell no.
Oh, hell yes. Joe Biden elected or brought in John Kerry as his climate czar. So, that's what we're talking about with this administration. We've seen Joe Biden so far. He's signed 30 executive orders. That's right, 30 people. So he's a dictator. He's not allowing the Congress to vote on anything. He's just signing executive order after executive order. And I'm seeing now a lot of Democrats are regretting the fact that they voted for Joe Biden. Joe Biden is not doing what he said. He did not deliver his COVID plan. He doesn't have a COVID plan. His COVID plan is wear 2 masks and realize there's nothing we can do to change the trajectory of the disease. So he said, Trump had blood on his hands. Trump hadn't done anything to help America. Well, Trump helped create 3 vaccines in record time. Trump did everything he could to stop a virus that was not created in this country. Biden said he didn't have a plan. And what's Biden's plan? Wear 2 masks? Come on. That's nothing, dude. Come on. Wake up, Joe. I know that, it's right now it's 9:30. You probably had your pureed oatmeal at the nursing home. And right about now, you've kind of, taken that morning dump and someone's changing your Depends right now. Dementia Joe. We all get it. But you can't come out and say that you're going to do certain things and talk about what the last president did and tell everybody you have a huge plan to combat COVID. And then you come in and you do absolutely nothing. Typical bullshit fraud behavior on the left again. And it's just, it's so prevalent. The people, as I mentioned, at the State House on January 6th, they're domestic terrorists. But Antifa, who is still taking over the Pacific Northwest, they're burning down buildings. They're demanding that Joe Biden be removed as president. They're demanding to dismantle the police department. They're not classified as domestic terrorists, but the American-loving people that came out on January 6th are domestic terrorists. I'm not talking about the people that were carrying Nancy Pelosi's lectern and people that did things like that. If you went into the Capitol building and you destroyed things, and if you broke windows to get in, and if you rushed your way in and you were looking to commit violence, then damn it, you should be arrested. Damn it, you should be put in prison, and you should not be allowed out again, in my opinion. But if you were one of the many, many people that saw the police pull the gates back and say, come on, guys, come on in. If I was there, I would have gone in. I was thinking about going to D.C. with my children so they could experience the Trump rally. Imagine being in the front of that row. Here I am, a dad with my kids, and a cop pulls the barrier back and says, hey, you know what? You guys can come in. I would have been like, wow, we can actually go into the State House. Awesome. I wouldn't have thought that I was rushing the State House. I would have thought I had permission to go into the State House. I would have gone in and I would have been orderly. If you saw the videos of inside the State House, they had those felt barriers set up in an aisleway, and people were very quietly walking through that aisleway. They weren't running outside the barriers. They were taking pictures of the different monuments. They felt like they were invited in. And the next thing you know, now they're being called domestic terrorists. So that's what we got in this country. We've got a double standard. We got Joe Biden in. I've got Democrats now coming out and saying they're disappointed in the job he's doing. His initial approval rate was 63%. It's now down to 48%. Starting to have that regret, people. Starting to feel like maybe Joe Biden wasn't the right choice. Of course, a lot of people believe that he wasn't really a choice. He actually stole the election. So anyway, that's kind of my little rant on politics. Let me tell you before I get off, I have a really funny story to tell you. I told this earlier in the show, but I've got a bunch of new people in right now. I'm a father of 4. We do a lot of laundry in this house, okay? So yesterday, my big pet peeve is when we do our laundry, I expect my children to take the clean laundry out of the laundry room and put it in the hallway so it doesn't get mixed up with the dirty clothes because we have a ton of laundry. So I went into the laundry room, and there's a laundry basket right outside the dryer with full of clothes. And I'm like, damn it, they didn't listen to me. Why didn't they put the laundry out in the hallway like I asked them to do? So, I was kind of annoyed, and I decided that my way of checking to see if this laundry was actually dirty was to pick up something from the laundry basket and smell it. Yeah, great decision, right, John? So I decided, instead of picking up a towel or something like that, I picked up a white pair of shorts that belonged to my 14-year-old son. Okay. So I picked up those shorts. They look clean. I sniffed my 14-year-old son's shorts. It smelled like Sasquatch had been living in those shorts for like 6 months and had literally taken like 7 dumps in those shorts. They smelled like the worst case of swamp ass I have ever smelled in my life. And not only did I take a whiff, I took a big whiff. I took a big whiff to the point where I literally, in the laundry room, dry heaved. It was disgusting. I don't know what I was thinking. Ew. It was a bad decision. I will never do it again. Ew. So the lesson to all of you is, if you have teenage kids and you think the laundry might be dirty, assume it or clean it. Just assume it's dirty and put it back in the fucking wash machine. I picked up those shorts and I'm regretting it. I dreamt last night of the stink in those shorts. I don't know how he achieved that level of smell in his 14-year-old body, but it was literally enough to make anybody vomit. It was disgusting. So my daughter's looking at me right now. She's carrying a plant. Maybe we should put that plant in the laundry room to get the smell out of there. And, yeah, I know. It was hard. It won't work. Hey, listen, there's scrambled eggs for you in the microwave. I made scrambled eggs this morning. See, I'm a good dad. I'm home. COVID shutdown. We have 12 chickens now. We bought those chickens at the start of the COVID shutdown. Now, does anyone else have any chickens? We're new to the chicken thing, but we're getting pretty good at it. We've got a chicken coop outside. We've got, how many chickens are in the coop right now outside? Is it 9? We've got 9 in the coop. So actually we have 11 chickens. We gave one away yesterday that turned out to be a rooster. We live in a neighborhood and we can't have the whole cock-a-doodle-doo thing waking our neighbors up at like 6 o'clock in the morning. So anyway, we are getting so many damn eggs right now. We can't possibly eat them. We have 6 members in our family. We have 4 children. This morning we had 18, 36, 54. I think we had over 60 eggs on top of our refrigerator this morning. I used 10 of them yesterday, so we still had 63. So this morning I made scrambled eggs, and then I made egg salad for lunch for our kids. And we still have probably a good 30 eggs, but we're going to get like another 8, 9, or 10 of them again today. So we are up to our eyeballs in eggs in this house. And honestly, Caitlin, are you starting to get sick of eggs yet?
How do we get 10 eggs?
I don't know. How does that happen? Because we got...
How do you think we would get 10 eggs when we have 9 chickens?
Well, are some of them laying more than one a day?
No, it's not possible.
Well, we've gotten 10 in some day, haven't we?
Yeah.
What's the most we've gotten?
9.
9 in one day?
Yeah.
All right, so forgive me. I said 9 in one day. I said 10 in one day. We've got 9. So I have to be corrected by my brilliant, beautiful daughter. So, Caitlin, how do those scrambled eggs look?
They look pretty good. What did you put in them?
What did I put in them? This was a special recipe
Okay.
passed down to me from my great-great-great-great-great-grandmother.
Are you sure you didn't just pull it out of your head this morning?
No. This came from my great-great-great-great-great-grandmother. I had written this down.
All right.
And this has been passed down generation to generation, a special scrambled egg recipe. And now this is what I did. Are you ready?
All right.
All right, here we go. Now, this is tough to remember. So I'm going to pass write it down. I'll pass the recipe on to you. Okay, so I took the eggs out of the carton, right?
Yep.
And I took them out.
Okay.
I had a bowl. I cracked the eggs and put them in a bowl.
Okay.
And then I stirred the eggs 46 to 47 times with a fork. Not 45 times, not 49 times, 46 to 47 times. I stirred them.
Okay, 46.
Then I took butter.
Got you.
I put it in the pan
Okay.
because you don't want the eggs to stick.
No, I got you.
Very, very important part of the recipe.
Yeah.
So after stirring the 46 times,
46.
I took that bowl of eggs and dumped them into a pan
Oh.
on the stove.
Okay.
And I set the temperature
Wow. Yeah.
at 6 to start.
6.
And then I put it down to 4.
Then you put it down to 4.
And then I raised it back up to 6.
You raised it back up
And then I
to
put it down to 4.
Okay, so it's like a little
Yes.
fight
So then I took a little mini spatula that I
mini
have,
spatula.
the little mini spatula, and I continued to stir the eggs while they were in the
Okay,
pot.
So you kneaded them over.
I needed them. That's the word. Did you see the recipe? I kneaded them. That's exactly what I did.
Well, technically, that's not what you would do. You would have been folding them.
I folded them and I kneaded them. I stirred
Stuck
them.
your hands in there and started doing it like bread.
Yes. Well, it's important not to beat them. Just remember
you
that.
can't beat them.
We have 3 teenage boys that take care of all the beating we need in this
Hey.
house. So I'll stay away from that. But anyway, once the eggs were done cooking,
Yes.
I took them out of the pan
Wow.
put them in a bowl,
Did you?
and serve them on paper plates to each of you.
Yeah. So are these like little black things? Are they burnt marks or are they pepper?
Okay, I do see your eggs, and I see the little black marks in the eggs. That is not pepper.
Okay.
I did not put pepper. I did not put salt. I put butter in these scrambled eggs. Those little black things are probably little bits of flavor
All right.
that came from the bottom of the
Do
pan.
you want to know how you get rid of those little black things?
How?
Margarine instead of butter. Butter burns.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
Mom told we don't have any margarine. It's gone.
We do have
Mom told me butter. Wait, no. It said in the recipe butter. Mom didn't tell me butter.
Well, it's margarine. And for further to make your eggs taste a little fluffier and thicker.
I'm sorry. I was playing a harp noise and I couldn't hear you. Say it again. I played a harp noise and it was too loud.
Well, to make your eggs fluffier and to make them like kind of melt in your mouth, you add a little butter into the eggs.
Ah.
Not butter. Shoot. Now you're making me think of butter. I meant milk.
Ah.
Milk in there.
Now, for those of you that don't know, this is my daughter, Caitlin. She is 15 years old. She is beautiful. She is intelligent. She's not quite as intelligent as her father, but she is smart. Hey, My T, welcome to the show, man. I like your sports podcast.
You know, your
I've been
eggs
in there a
are
few
awesome.
times. So, see, My T Sports Podcast came in.
Yeah.
Great sports podcast here on Podbean. So, if you're a sports fan, tune into that show. It's a good show.
They aren't bad though, despite all those steps that you missed.
I'll tell you, man, I think I miss my calling. I've been in sales my whole life. I played football in college. I do a podcast now. I think I should have my own cooking show where I could give some of my recipes like scrambled eggs.
Oh yeah, and like your grilled cheese where you put the butter on the inside of the sandwich.
Well, that's where it's supposed to go, isn't it?
No, it's supposed to go on the outside.
I could have.
No.
What?
So he makes this grilled cheese. He says, "I'll make the kids lunch," and we're all like, "Oh yeah, grilled cheese." And he's like, "Okay, I can do that." And
I'm
so we're
playing
all
cricket
excited.
noise over you.
Shh. And we're all excited because we love grilled cheese. I mean, what kid doesn't love grilled cheese? And so he's making the sandwiches. We're all waiting at the island because we're like starving because we're kids. And if you keep playing noises, I'm not going to tell the story.
That was the sad trombone
Or
noise.
whatever.
Go ahead. She doesn't have headphones on.
No, but I know because you keep pressing those buttons.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, so he gives them to us, and we all take our big bites because we're excited, and it tastes terrible.
No, it doesn't.
Because he put the butter or the margarine, he probably used butter because he doesn't know that butter burns, and he put it on the inside, and it literally tastes like glorified mayonnaise in the sandwiches with the cheese, and it is disgusting. And we're all like, ew, we don't want to eat this, and he's like, you're eating it.
Wait, what did you say? You said what? You said ew? This is on my soundboard also.
Oh, yeah. Ew.
And that would be you. So
Yeah,
it's a
it
good
would be
noise.
me, I
You know what? You children are spoiled, damn it. It is Mr. T, man. Great show. I love his show. Mr. T kicks ass on his sports podcast. Hey, while you're down there, you missed it. We were talking about the Super Bowl a little bit earlier. I'm a big football guy. Who's going to win? You think Tampa Bay or Kansas City? I'm picking Tampa Bay. I think it's hard to pick against Brady. But go ahead. Yes, finish your story.
Was that a swear?
What?
Was that a swear?
Swears on the podcast don't count.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
All right. For those of you that don't know, all right, we have a bunch of foul-mouthed fucking people in this house.
That's another one.
That doesn't count. I'm on a podcast. It doesn't count.
$2.
So we go get the swear jar. We created a swear jar like, I don't know, a week ago, 2 weeks ago. How long has it been now? 2 weeks ago. We have already a tremendous amount of money in this swear jar. It's right near the coffee machine, right there. Count the money. I want to know how much cash is in there. Now, this is normally our change jar. All right. We have a lot of change in this jar. We throw all of our change in it. And you won the big raffle at Christmas this year. How much did you win?
$92.
You know what we did this year? We have a big change jar in our kitchen. So this year we allowed our 4 kids to pick a number every day to win all the change in the change jar. And you ended up winning. How much was it? $92 in the change jar. That was a nice Christmas present for you to take that $92. So right now we have this swear jar. It's in our change jar, and there's a lot of cash. She's counting right now, and we're going to just let her count that money so we can let you know who's in it. So the rules are, with our 4 children and mom and dad, anytime anybody swears, you have to put $1 in the swear jar. And I'm thinking at this point, we're 2 weeks into this, we may be going to like Fiji, the moon. I don't know where we're going to go, but we're going to have a lot of money in this swim jar. How much? $57 in 2 weeks. So that means the foul-mouthed people in this house have tossed out 57 swears in the last 2 weeks. That's crazy. And of course, I think maybe $1 or $2 of those dollars were mine.
I think about half of the dollars were yours.
All right, I got to mention this now. Mr. T is talking about 50. Mr. T said a 55 million for a SpaceX trip.
Oh my God.
Oh, we're going, man.
Getting there. We're getting there.
I'm calling Elon Musk today, and we're booking our tickets, paid for by the swear jar. So I see Mr. T's comment about he's going to go with KC. You know, it's a tough call. Mahomes is a great quarterback, but it's hard to pick against Brady with that receiving core that he has. And I think the big equalizer is going to be the games in Tampa Bay. So you've got the game. It's almost going to be like a home game. He's going to have 26,000 fans. Finally, he has a great receiving core, you know, for with Tampa, with, you know, Evans, with Godwin, with, well, I don't think Brown's going to play, but Gronkowski, even though Gronkowski hasn't done much this year. But hey, as a New England Patriots fan, man, I'm all about Brady. I'm rooting for Brady. But I think Mahomes, man, he's certainly the best young quarterback in the game. I think it's a little too early to call him the future GOAT, like some people have said. But I'm picking Tampa, but it could go either way. It could easily be Kansas City.
I'm pretty torn because, you know, Mahomes won last year too.
He's a great quarterback.
So,
and they're a great team.
2 in a row could definitely be a possibility for him because he's a really good quarterback. I definitely would not call him the new GOAT,
Yeah.
but
A little too early for that.
I feel like he has a long way to go to get to that status, but he's a really good player,
He
no
is.
doubt. And he has a good team around him, but I probably would have to pick Brady.
Well, you know, but when you talk about Mahomes, though, I mean, you talk about Tampa Bay's receivers. I mean, you got Godwin, you got Evans, you got, you know, whoever, and you got a great running game with Fournette. I think the two weaknesses on the Tampa Bay team are that the offensive line does not pass block well. They run block well, but they don't pass block that well. And Brady needs time to throw the ball.
Yeah, he does.
So if Kansas City can put pressure on Brady, then that's going to be a problem for Tampa Bay.
We know Brady's
The other
scrambled.
weakness, obviously, with the Tampa Bay defense is the defensive backs have not played as well as they need to.
Yeah.
Their defensive line and their run defense is pretty strong, but otherwise, you know, pass defense just is not where it needs to be. But, you know, with Kansas City, man, you get two of my favorite DraftKings players, man. I draft these guys all the time with Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill.
He's amazing.
Beast.
Well, you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking now I'm 53 years old. And, okay, I have maybe a little bit of a dad bod or maybe even like get to be a grandfather bod. I'm gonna race Tyreek Hill. I think I could beat him. You don't think I could beat him?
I think that he would win in about 3 seconds.
Oh no, I will beat him because I'm gonna be driving a car when I race him.
If you're driving your Corvette, then maybe you have a chance.
Yes, I'm a 53-year-old man with a Corvette convertible. Go figure. Another
Wow,
bald,
bald.
middle-aged man with a convertible, right?
That's like half the population.
You know what though? I don't care. Now you all laughed at me when I wanted to buy the Corvette.
No, he didn't.
You kind of did. Mom made
Mom
fun of me.
did.
Well,
I didn't.
she's annoying
I was
anyway.
like, yeah, I mean,
We got a cheap Corvette, 2004. It's in good shape. You know, we drove it last August and September. It's now put away for the winter. How much fun was it driving around in the Corvette
it was fun.
with the top down?
Oh, remember
right?
when we hit 100 on the highway?
Oh, shh. Don't tell people that.
Well, we didn't get a speeding ticket, so it didn't happen.
Oh, you want to tell people that? All right. Well, I'm going to release some secrets then, too, if you're going to talk about that. So you just told everyone here that I reached 100 miles an hour on the highway in my Corvette with you in the car, which you did. Now, we were camping at Normandy Farms in Foxborough late in the summer.
Boy.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
Now, in Massachusetts, edibles and marijuana may be legal. They might be legal. And I may occasionally partake in maybe eating a gummy bear, you know, for whatever reasons. But I'm an old man and I'm entitled to do so. Now, I went camping with my family, and we ended up going to Patriots Place. We were camping right near the Patriots Stadium. And my kids decided they wanted to go bowling. There was a game going on, but we couldn't go into the stadium because of COVID. So my daughter is a pretty good bowler. She bowls on a team, bowls in a league, does very well. You know, she's a good bowler. And she had a terrible day bowling. And she didn't care that she had a terrible day bowling. Come to find out, my little 15-year-old cherub here found my edible stash and tried one of my edibles, didn't she?
The impulse control was nowhere.
The impulse control was nowhere. But what amazes me is you actually told us that you did it. Now, that's not the typical teenage thing to do. Usually you would like not ever tell your parents and deny it. Why would you tell us?
Because I felt really guilty.
Oh, you felt guilty. All right.
I wouldn't be able to keep that a secret very long.
I hear you. Well, you're a good kid for telling
I can't
us.
lie. I mean,
You can't lie. I know. Well, maybe dad shouldn't be doing it either. I'm a bad example, right? All right. Well, listen, everybody. We've been on for like an hour and 20 minutes, and I've got to get to work. I'm having a blast actually this morning. Hey, Mr. T, I'm really glad you came in today. I'm going to pop back into your show again soon. I've been in a few times, and I just kind of sit and listen. I don't really comment too much. But this guy knows the sports. If you like sports, tune into that show. Don't miss it. It's a great sports podcast. And
until he talks baseball. sport. I really.
Oh
am.
yeah, I can't wait for baseball season, man. Now
I
you have.
like football, but baseball is.
Oh yeah, baseball season. The Red Sox are still going to suck this
they're
year.
Still gonna suck, though.
But their new GM, Shane Bloom, I'm not too crazy about him. I don't think he knows what the hell he's doing.
Yankees lost that really good.
Oh, Tanaka,
yeah,
right?
Tanaka, they
He's going
lost
back to
him.
Japan. I saw that. So, well, whatever. Anything that drives the Yankees down into the
And
abyss is all good with me.
That made their over/under sets go way down.
Oh, did it really?
Oh
Good.
my god, they lost so much money on the bets. It was great.
Well, you know what I say. F the Yankees. See, I didn't see the actual words. So,
Literally, I was just laughing. I'm like, oh,
all right, everybody. Hey, thank you so much for joining the John DeVito Show. We have a special guest of Caitlin popping in. So my daughter came, and now we got to actually get back to work and get back to school and do all that stuff we're supposed to do. Oh, yes. We've got to take care of the hermit crabs. Now, for all you people, before we get off, if you're young and you're in this show and you have no responsibility, let me tell you what the pain of responsibility looks like. All right? I've got 4 kids, 2 dogs, 11 chickens, 2 hermit crabs. What else do we have? A cat.
Yeah, cat.
Am I forgetting anything else?
I don't think.
Could I possibly have any other
how many
living beings that actually rely on me?
Okay, see, but I take care of the chickens and the hermit crabs.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that was the plan when you got them, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And we had to get rid of our.
They don't rely on you.
I felt bad giving away the rooster yesterday.
I know, but it was better that way because I feel like they can give them a better home than we feel.
I agree. So, all right, everybody. Hey, thanks for coming in. I appreciate everyone that stopped in the show. Please come back in and join the John DeVito Show in the future. And you can also get us on download on iHeartRadio, Spotify, all those fun places. All right. So, hey, for the people just coming in, Cuppy, Daniel, thank you for coming in, but I'm ending the show. Hopefully you come back and join me again soon. All right. And here goes my awesome exit music. There we go. If it plays. Come on. There it goes. I'm such a novice. All right. Hey, love you all. Thank you, everybody. Have a great weekend.